Macklin Celebrini does cool stuff, but the Sharks still find a way to lose the game.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHLs on Tuesday. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. If you want to be an everyday, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're going to be breaking down the Sharks' 4-3 loss to the Montreal Canadiens with a shorthanded goal, dooming everything. We're going to talk about Celebrini, Smith, and Colin Graff. They played very well tonight. And if just all the young kids played really well. So we'll dig behind the numbers of this game. And Mario Ferraro to the Avs. So before we get to all that, do want to let you guys know today's episode is brought to you by GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. All right, the big story from tonight. I think you saw the Sharks handing the keys to the children, and we've seen this kind of, like the torch being passed, but tonight, after the first game without Mikael Granlund, right? No Cody Ceci. And the Sharks' young players led the way, right? Celebrini was awesome tonight with a goal and an assist. Will Smith probably should have had 3 points tonight. But, things happened. Colin Graff gets his first NHL goal. But, I kind of felt my big observation from this game is it felt like a weight had been lifted, right? And I think the team had to know, Mikael Granlund's getting treated at some point, right? And Cody Ceci, who hadn't been there as long, was definitely respected in the locker room and looked up to by the younger guy. All these guys knew that this was going to happen at some point, right? And now that it's finally happened, and I think you can kind of start to kind of move on, and it's the thing's done with, right? And now they can kind of just get back to playing hockey without having this thing hover over their head that is Mikael Granlund getting traded. And I think the team just played more free tonight. They played really well for the most part. Was there mistakes? Of course there was mistakes, right? The defense I thought was really sloppy in the first period. But then it's also, you have a lot of young players, right? Jack Thompson, Shakira Mukamadulin. All these guys are kind of playing with new guys. Henry Thrun's playing with Jake Wallman kind of for the first time. Everybody's got a new dance partner right now. So, okay, a little bit of excuse there. But it just kind of felt like the Sharks kind of got back to the, let's just play competitive hockey and try to make the most of this situation. And I think they got back to that tonight. And it definitely was led by Macklin, Celebrini, Will Smith, Colin Graff, who was easily had his best NHL game tonight. You saw a lot of what makes these guys special. The Will Smith between the legs pass on the goal that didn't count. Just the audacity. Our good friend Keegan at Halfwall Hockey said somebody made Will Smith sit down and watch his 2023 draft highlights recently, and you're seeing that. And it's the best thing for him. You're seeing just Will Smith being more and more comfortable every game, and he's just getting better. We haven't really had too many Will Smith slip ups and stuff like that. He's just, I feel like he's finding his groove. And if you go back to Boston College, right? A little bit of a slow start in Boston College. Then around the Christmas break, World Juniors happens. And then he just really finds his groove in the second half of the season. and you're seeing it here as well for them. But the audacity to complete that. We'll just get this out of the way. I thought it was a goal. I understand the NHL rule of like you have to see it. They have to the Stone Age, like we have to see the white between the blue line and the black puck. Like we have to see that in there. I thought it was a goal. Like, yes, we need trackers and pucks and we need chips and footballs, and like tennis can do this on the fly. Like you see it in soccer. Like, guys, it's time. It's time. But that's a discussion for a different day. So I understand. I'm not like the Sharks lost the game because they didn't call that goal correctly. Like the Sharks lost this game because they made a crucial error on the power play, and we'll get to that here in a second. But Smith, though, like was playing better. Celebrini tonight, like started to take over this game, and you've been seeing like just those little moments where he just takes over the game. And that, like, the goal was beautiful. Beautiful goal. That pass to Foley where he gets it and just perfect amount of sauce right over the defenders. Like the defender doesn't have a chance. To Foley just gets it in stride. Nice little deke backhand to Foley goal. Like just it's so great having Macklin Celebrini on our team, and for like having Macklin Celebrini in our lives for the next 20 years. It's going to be great, guys. But like, this is what we want, right? If we're going to lose games, which the Sharks are going to continue to lose games, let's A, have a good time, and B, let's just let the young kids play. And I think you're seeing that happen right now. So, poor Andrew Podorowski, who I really like. Andrew Podorowski. I think behind Tyler Toffoli, I think Andrew Podorowski was the second best signing the Sharks organization made this offseason. Signing, like free agent signing. Because what he's done for the Barracuda, right? Leading the AHL in goal and points, like, was an AHL All-Star. Just like has provided stability among the Barracuda forward. Like everybody you talk to among the Barracuda, like player, like especially the young players, just rave about him, and kind of like they didn't like. I even asked Colin Grant, like, who's the guy you kind of didn't know much about and were really impressed with him, and he said Andrew Podorowski. And seeing like he got called up, and just seeing the support for Podorowski. And I thought he played pretty well tonight. Playing second line center for the Sharks, but that mistake there, man, like it's just, I think that's that difference between the AHL and the NHL. Where in the AHL, Podorowski probably gets away with that, right? Where that little just that little bit of a fumble of the puck, and he's just not able to corral it in. In the AHL, like I said, he probably gets away with it. In the NHL, back of the net. So, do you want Gorgiev to make a save there? Yes. But also, like, how often do you see it, right? One end, Montembeault makes a brilliant save on Celebrini. What would have been his second goal of the night. Would have put the Sharks up 4-3. They would have had the lead. Tried to lock it down for the final couple minutes, right? Brilliant save on the ball off a brilliant pass from Will Smith. Will Smith was dealing tonight with the passes. And then Montembeault saves it, and right away, puck goes the other way. And 2-on-1, Podorowski back checks as hard as he can. He almost even breaks it up there, but just back of the net. So that's the way the Sharks are right now, right? It's you could do so many positive things, but right, it's just how many times have we seen the Sharks now? One costly error cost them a game in this game where they honestly they went toe to toe and at times outplayed the Montreal Canadiens, who are fighting for their playoff lives right now. So I think though you have to feel like, yes, it stinks that they lost, but if they can continue to just play this way and not like what we saw kind of in the last few games here, especially against the Kraken and, some of these other performance, against the Panthers, some of these other performances where it's very much 23-24 Sharks. Like, if you can play scrappy and, lose, keep it close, that's just, and having the kids kind of experience and, kind of working through these rookie errors and mistakes, I think that's what you're kind of wanting for the rest of the season here. So, and I thought tonight was a great, kind of a nice bounce back game. Yeah, they didn't win, but it was just a much better performance from the Sharks, and I thought they responded well to some adversity. So, we're going to continue to look at this game. We're going to talk about the numbers behind the game, look at how the lines did, all that fun stuff. Get to hear that here in just 1 second. Super Bowl 59 is here. One game, two teams, go Birds, endless possibilities. And there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with FanDuel Sportsbook. Whether it's predicting the first touchdown, calling the MVP, or even betting the coin toss, tails never fails. FanDuel makes it easy to get in the action with live betting all game long. You can adjust your bets as the game unfolds and feel the thrill from kickoff to the final whistle. Live betting feature lets you stay involved no matter what happens on the field. The app is super easy to navigate. Plus, knowing you can place a $5 bet and potentially win $200 in bonus bets for Super Bowl, that's the icing on the cake. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. Bet just $5 you can win, and you'll score $200 on bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Bet with FanDuel, an official partner of Super Bowl 59. All right, before we continue digging into the numbers of this game, do want to, of course, thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Probably part of the Locked On Network. If you haven't, now's a perfect time to subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, hit like on the video. We are first draft profile, Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Pacific time. One of the top four, one of the big four. So perfect time to subscribe now. Or if you're listening, especially on Apple, leave a review. Much appreciated. Helps the algorithm do algorithm-y things. So let's dig into the numbers of this game. 4-3, again, loss. 47-45 time on, or 5-on-5 time. 52-51 shot attempts in favor of the Canadiens. Actual shots at 5-on-5, 22-14. The Sharks, one, did a good job of kind of making the Canadiens like blocking shots, all that fun stuff. Two, the Canadiens hit like 3 posts in this game, if I recall correctly. Could have been a lot worse in that scenario, but we'll take it. Scoring chances for 30-29 in favor of the Canadiens. High danger chances for 12-11 in favor of the Sharks. Expected goals for at 5-on-5, it was 1.92 for the Canadiens, and then it was like 2.45 for the Sharks. I'm having to look at 2.45 for the Sharks at 5-on-5 there. I think though for San Jose, like, did a good job, especially kind of end of the first period, begin of second. Like, the Canadiens are really pushing right. They score the 2 goals, one on the 4-minute power at the end of the 4-minute power play. They get another kind of quick one right there, but then the Sharks started to kind of push back at the end of the, it's middle of the second. Things really kind of turned towards the Sharks, and even like up, the Sharks score the power play. Like, it was very much Sharks, and then Canadiens kind of push back. Sharks get a power play on a puck over glass. I felt like this was the Sharks' opportunity to win this game, and unfortunately, they did not. But yeah, it was actually fairly close. Like, when you look at a lot of the numbers, like, both these teams were really evenly matched, which I think one speaks to maybe the Canadiens, and we kind of talked about with our friends yesterday at Locked On Canadiens, where Canadiens might be a little bit kind of punching above their weight right now. But two, I think the Sharks, it just kind of shows a lot of the bad luck that they've had this year, right? How many of these games that we come on here afterwards and just been like, oh, you know, you don't give up a shorthanded goal, right? You don't give up 6 straight goals to the Nashville Predators. Like so many of these just things that continually happen to the Sharks this year. Again, all for the greater good of trying to get the first overall pick. So let's look at the lines here. Much different lines, of course, with no Granlund and with all the injuries the Sharks are kind of dealing with right now, right? Of course, Benberg not played in this game. Like there's just a whole slew of guys who didn't play in this game. So 5-on-5, Eklund, Celebrini, Toffoli line led the way with 11-22, 13-12 shot attempts. 3 to 5 actual shots, gave up a goal, unfortunately. Natural stat trick is expected goals for is not working right now. They had 9 to 7 scoring chances and 3 to 4 high danger chances for that line with 6 offensive zone starts. So, right, that's Warsofsky knows this is my best line to give me a chance to score anytime. They fed him offensive zone starts. Goodrow, Cunnin, Colin Graff actually played the second most 5-on-5. It's really close, but 12 to 9 shot attempts, which I was really surprised to see. 5 to 3 actual shots, 1 to nothing goals for. 7 to 4 scoring chances, 1 to 1 high danger chances. Colin Graff flying around tonight. What a first goal. That is like a frame, every first NHL goal is beautiful in its own way, but that is like a frame it, put it in your house. And that was what we saw, like watching when I went, like when the Sharks signed him, watching his Quinnipiac tape. You saw him like he's got a bit of a rocket, like for a shot. He just hasn't had a chance to utilize it much so far. But you saw it there. And I think, and I talked about before, as soon as Colin Graff scores that first one, I feel like it's going to be a weight lifted off him, and you're probably going to see a bunch more. And he almost had another one tonight. You could tell, I think, just the weight of finally getting that first one done. And he was flying around after that, like on the forecheck, just making stuff happen. And that's what you see on the Barracuda, right? If you watch Barracuda games, the puck always finds Colin Graff's stick. And like, that's my biggest compliment I give to him. He is always in the right place at the right time, and the puck finds the stick. He's just one of those players where the puck always finds the stick, and you saw it tonight again, and especially after he scored that goal. I thought he was playing with his hair on fire tonight. So love to see it. I was pleasantly surprised with that line, especially when I saw Goodrow, Cunnin, and Graff. I was not expecting the best for that line, but pleasantly surprised by them. Zetterlund, Podorowski, Will Smith played 10-16, 10 to 17 shot attempts, but 5 to 2 actual shots. So they gave up more shot attempts, but actually getting shots on goal, they did much better, which is weird. 6 to 11 scoring chances, 5 to 4 high danger chances for that line. So I think Will Smith has been, we talked about Will Smith plenty, but I was a little worried without Granlund. And again, this is a 1-game sample size right now. A little worried about Granlund if we might see some regression. Will Smith looked great tonight. So let's see if he can continue to keep it going. Walker Dewar, Colin White, and Carl Grundstrom played 655, 8 to 7 shot attempts, 4 to 2 actual shots for that line, 4 to 4 scoring chances, and 2 to 1 high danger chances. Dewar had a really nice shift where he kind of like stole the puck from someone, made something happen behind the net, got a nice little wraparound chance. Grundstrom, just horrible penalty on that. We gave for the 4, like you have to control your stick better than that. So, and that led to the game tying goal at 3 to 3. So, is what it is. Again, the Sharks just don't have enough warm bodies right now. As for the defensive pairs, so we had when it comes to shot attempts, Ferraro, Thompson played together. They had a 53.13%, Corsi 4, 17 to 15. Mukamadula, Liljegren played 44.83%, 13-16, and the Walmonth run 43.75%, 14-18 shot attempts. I thought Mukhamadullin looked pretty good for the most part tonight. Maybe probably wants to play that 2-on-1 a little bit better. I did like seeing him just kind of make, like we've talked about, make a decision and go with it. He kind of crashed the net with the puck, at which he did that this weekend too with a Barracuda. I think he's got his confidence back from his injury, which is good to see, right? And so good for Mukhamadullin. Like, he's going to get an opportunity now, especially with all the injuries that the Sharks have, and with some of the people out of the lineup now. So I hope he gets a chance to kind of stick around here and get his things settled down. So Alexander Georgiev, 16 saves on 20 shots, 4 goals. Again, right now, money, the natural stat trick, the expected goals against. I guess I pulled up on pulling it up on. So expected goals against in all situations, 3.387. Gave up 4 goals. So some minus 0.61 goals saved above expected. The second one really bothers me, where he just loses track of the puck. He just looks lost out there. Yeah, so is what it is. 5 to 6 high danger for high danger saves, 8 to 10 mid danger, and 2 to 3 on low danger for Georgiev. So I assume we see Vitek Vanecek on Thursday, and probably Georgiev to close it out on Saturday. So before the Four Nations break. So yeah, we're gonna put a wrap on this game. Talk about Mario Ferraro. Rumored Avs might be interested, so we'll get to that here in just 1 second. If you're looking for tickets for your next big event, maybe you want to go catch the Sharks game before Four Nations, go see Steph Curry and the Warriors, or whatever it is that you want to go do, and you need tickets for, you need to check out GameTime. With GameTime Picks, the app does all the hard work for you. Carries the best deals, so you don't have to waste time searching through endless listings. I've been using GameTime Picks for a while. It's great because, again, I can look at all the great seats at a great price. I don't have to shift through a bunch of options that I'm just not going to pay for or can't afford to pay for. And also seeing what my seat's going to look like, right? No bad seats at the tank, but there's definitely been places where I got tickets and I was like, man, these seats, not like, I would have paid a little bit more to have a much better seat. So the best part, you're covered with GameTime's lowest price guarantee. So if you find a better deal somewhere else, they'll refund 110% of the difference. Plus, your tickets are guaranteed delivered on time with easy cancellation options if something comes up. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, when you guys are done checking out this episode, make sure you guys go check out one of the other great shows here at Locked On. You have Locked On Fantasy Hockey. If your fantasy hockey team needs some help, they got you covered there. Or check out any other shows here in the Bay Area. Locked On Niners, Locked On A's, Locked On Warriors, Locked On Giants. Plenty of great stuff here at the Locked On Network, where we cover your team every day. All right, the fourth period today, they had an interesting nuggets, et cetera, rumors, all that, whatever you want to call it. But one of the little nuggets, though, just something to keep in mind on, is the Avs are kicking the tires on Mario Ferraro, which is interesting. I do think, again, we've kind of known that Mario Ferraro has been available if a team is willing to kind of meet the Sharks price. And I think that's a big thing with the Shark. Like, Mike Grier isn't just going to move Mario Ferraro just to move Mario Ferraro. But if a team is willing to kind of meet the Sharks price, he is willing to do it. So Sharks listening, there's some chatter that the Colorado Avalanche are one of the teams interested in him. So still means that there's more teams. Let's just do a quick, we did this with the Granlund episode partners, but just kind of a quick reminder of what the Colorado Avalanche have in terms of pieces. So, oops, wrong button. If you're watching on YouTube, I got it pulled up here. If not, I'll go through it. So, deadline cap space. The Avalanche have about $3.9 million in cap space right now. At least when I checked last time. They have enough money, basically, if they want to make something happen with this. They have about $3.9 million right now of deadline cap space. Mario Ferraro's 2 years left on his deal at $3.25 million. So they could bring him in without having to ship off a contract back. The Sharks might need a contract back because they are getting really close to the cap floor at this point, especially after sending Granlund away and such. But the Sharks do have the space, the Colorado Avalanche do have the space to take on Mario Ferraro's contract. For the picks, this is the important part. Colorado has no first-round pick this year. They have two second-round picks, including one of them is the Carolina Hurricanes that they just acquired, and the other one is the New York Rangers. If you haven't checked the Rangers out recently, not doing so hot. Right now, that pick is scheduled to be in the top 50. That's one to circle. Don't have a third-round pick, 2 fourth-round picks, et cetera, et cetera. Next year, 2026 draft class, which is supposed to be a much better draft class, the Avs do have a first-round pick. So you're probably if we're just talking picks here, we'll get to prospects here in a second. If you're just talking picks, you're probably circling the Rangers pick, which would be, again, most likely a top 50 pick, unless the Rangers go on some ridiculous run. I don't believe in that team right now. I think that team is a soft reset for them this year. They cleared a bunch of cap space. I think they're going to go hard this offseason to try to make another kind of retool on the fly here. Or you're looking at that first round pick. I think if the Sharks want that first round pick, you're probably going to have to give up something else nice. Maybe not nice, but you're probably going to have to give up something else. And whether it's a kind of almost like a pick swap, where maybe it's the Barclay Goodrow type of deal where you have to give up a solid pick to kind of boost that pick into a first round stratosphere. That could be an option there. Again, I'm guessing, talking to some people, again, next year's draft cost is much better. And if you can try to get another pick in next year's draft class, I think you should try to do it. So, or if Mike Grier wants to be aggressive, getting another second round pick this year, maybe for a team that is looking to unload somebody, or then you would basically have, your own pick. You'd have the Dallas pick, your own second round pick, which is going to be at the top of the second round. And then the Rangers pick. And then you have 2 second round picks next year. You're kind of starting to refill the war chest here. So if you wanted to look at the prospects, again, we kind of went through this, but Scott Wheeler recently, he's been going through the whole prospect pool and laying out everybody's picks. Here's who he has as kind of the tiers for the Colorado Avalanche. Callum Ritchie, who we talked about, you're not getting Callum Ritchie. He's easily the Avs' best prospect. Mikhail Gulyev, left-handed defenseman playing over in Russia. He's a very, very dynamic type of player. They have a ton of goalies if you wanted to maybe add another goalie piece. Ilya Nabokov, not that Nabokov, but still. One guy, though, I talked about a little bit last time, Sean Barons, who's a left-handed defenseman, is missing his entire season with a injury. I think he tore his knee, if I recall correctly. I know a lot of people are very high on him, but then again, he's a guy who's missed an entire season with a knee injury. Also, another left-handed defenseman. Oscar Olofsson, who's a little bit frustrating. Like then you're kind of getting down to some guys who are maybe not really NHL guys. So you're probably looking like you're not getting Callum Ritchie. It's probably Gulyev or Barons is probably the guys you target if you wanted to go more prospect heavy for a potential return. As for the actual guys on the Colorado's roster, again, this team is trying to win a Stanley Cup right now. Do you potentially ask for Jack Drury, who they literally just got from Colorado or from the Carolina Hurricanes? I know there was talk of even, I think if you go back to the Brent Burns trade, I think Drury was potentially thrown around in there. He is also 25 at this point. I know which he's only 25, but again, like I think for Mike Greer, right, you want young guys who kind of fit your next core of players. So, and most like the other defensemen, a lot of these guys are kind of, like they have their like Devin Tays and Cale Makar, like those guys are awesome, et cetera, et cetera. But I think they're trying to kind of beef up their bottom six because, you have Calvin DeHaan, who's 33, Keith Middleton, who's kind of like an AHL type of guy. Tucker Pullman, who's on LTIR. I think they're really trying to kind of beef up their bottom six, kind of their 4, 5, 6 defensemen with Mario Ferraro. So I think this one's probably more pick based as Mike Greer tries to add some more ammo. The more ammo Mike Greer adds, the more I think he's going to be super aggressive about getting an impact player who can help the Sharks sooner rather than later. That's just my guess. Trying to kind of get some ammunition to make another Askarov style trade where you trade you kind of consolidate a bunch of these guys to go get somebody who you think is going to help you sooner rather than later. So we'll keep track of this, see what happens to Mario Ferraro. If we get anything happening, of course, we'll have you covered here as soon as we can. Usually reaction right away. And then, of course, an actual deep dive on players, picks, whatever happens, just like we did with the Granlund trade. So make sure you follow along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Be back tomorrow again. We're deep diving into one of the big four, the draft profiles with one of our friends. So make sure you guys are here for that. Follow the show wherever you get podcasts. Of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Also in social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Till tomorrow. Bye, friends.